Yeah, yeah. Hi guys, Sean and Mel. Hope you guys are good. Look, this obviously came in yesterday, and I've been through it and just checked it all out. And yeah, look, not probably what you guys want to see, but this QS has been doing a lot of work for us, and over the last 4 years, we use him a lot, and he's pretty accurate. I'm just going to go through things with you, and then obviously we can have a discussion about it later. Um, but basically, how it works is I'll skip this page for now. I'll come back to this page very quickly, go past it so it doesn't freak you out. But so what happens is it starts off with the materials first, the materials and the labor. So he goes through and basically highlights all the materials that we need, and associated to those materials is a labor constant. So you can see quantities, unit, and then materials. So basically starting off um, and demoing everything right down to the floor is kind of the way to go. There's nothing really we can save. And then we've got demo, profiles and setting out, the new concrete, the new timber flooring, in terms of the actual structural flooring. We've got framing in there, we've got decks, we've got roof framing, wall framing, everything you need from a carpentry point of view. You've got all the insulation, the building paper, the soffites, the barge boards, the fascias. Now with the cladding, he's gone with like a board and batten profile for the whole house. And I have a separate price for if you wanted to do a few walls in something different. Got all the gyp board, got finishing lines, your skirtings, your architraves. You've got all your internal door hardware and your doors. You've got your locks. You've got fixings, nails, and all sorts in there. So basically, all the materials about 78,000. So that's like all the carpentry materials. So that's the material package done. Then it moves on to the subcontractor work up the top. So this is everyone that we need to bring in. So we've got a site clearance, we've got excavation for the new footings and foundations of the extension, you've got a grout pump, you've got structural steel, which is obviously unknown at this stage because it is quite early on, but that's where we're at. You got all the roofing, you got the skylight, you've got gutterings and downpipes, you've got all new window double glazed joinery, reusing the existing fireplace, you've got mirrors, glass shower doors, you've got plastering in there, gyp plastering, kitchen 25,000 for the kitchen, vanities 3,600 for all the vanities, wardrobe fit outs 2,300. So that wardrobe fit out could be something that you remove. Appliances 7 grand could be something you remove. You got stairs in there. You've got electrical contract of 22. That's about right, I'd say. So that's all electrical. You've got all the plumbing. So this includes the the shower, tapware, the toilets, everything in there. You've got drainage, just a provisional sum. Painting interior and exterior. Floor finishes. So we've got carpet in the areas that I've noted as carpet. You've got pre-finished flooring, timber flooring. You've got tiles to walls, floors, waterproofing, so the whole lot. The site work, so the retaining wall down the side as the entry up the top of the stairs. You've got the miscellaneous items, so like letterbox and all that. You could probably take out some of those. So that includes all the subcontractor work, right? So everyone we have to get in. So you've got materials and labor, which is up the top. You got subcontractor work, and then you have what we call preliminaries in general. Okay, so they are basically all the site overheads, which is normally about 10%. This is 8.8, so it's about right. And they are things like footpath protection, settlement control, health and safety, security, roof edge protection, scaffold, supervision, freight allowance, building rubbish removal, basically all final clean, all site overheads that go into the job. And then you get to the breakdown. So all total materials and subcontractors is that. Total labor hours is obviously DC's hours of building everything is that. That gives you a total of that. Then we apply a 10% margin to that price as a project management fee, and obviously also for contractual risk, because everything is with us in terms of subcontractors. And that spits out a total at 506. Now, the contingency sum of 5% is basically at this stage, because we haven't gone out to any sub-trades, this 5% is to cover any overs, unders. For example, if the Sparky comes back slightly more expensive, if the drain layer comes back slightly more expensive, then this is basically a contingency until we get everything locked in. It's not a contingency for things like, oh, we're going to change the tapware from a medium spec to high spec. Then you've got a subtotal of 532 and good old GST of 79,000, which takes it to a total of 6112. So 612. Now, I know you guys had a budget of 450. What you also need to include, and this is only build side of things, is your council consent. That could be 5-6k. Our fees in taking the drawings through. That could be another, well, I think that's another 5k is what I gave you guys a proposal. So you're looking at 10k there. Any engineers, bits and pieces. You really want to be adding 15k to cover you for the design part in getting the council consent and then the build costs. So you probably are looking at a total of 630. Now I know that's a hell of a lot more than what you guys have budgeted for, and that was my concern with it's basically a new build, not leaving the existing foundations, which we'd have to survey to see whether everything's okay, and building up from there. That was my concern, and I was just mindful where we were going. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. I guess the areas that we could probably pull back on, you've got things like, look, all the structure is the structure. The framing is the framing. The roof is the roof. You got plumbing, you got Sparky, you got plastering, you got all that. The only areas which I think maybe potentially we could look at would be things like decks, pergolas, timber balustrades and stairs. Well, there's 30,000 just in that. All those decks out the front and the pergolas as you come through the entry. That could be something you guys do in stage 2. What else could we do? Potentially maybe the painting. The painting could come down if you guys were doing some of it. But other than that, like let's just say you took 30 out. And say you took off some of the painting. I still believe with design and council and build, you'd probably be talking around the 550 mark to 600. The 450, I don't think we're going to make that. Well, I know we're not going to make that work for that. That's where I'm looking at the moment. Yes, you could probably look at, generally the spec that is used for the tiles and the tapware and the whiteware and all that is medium spec. I probably wouldn't go lower than that. 25k on the kitchen is very reasonable. I wouldn't go lower on that. So that's probably the two areas that you could probably look at of potentially reducing. The other option is whether the upstairs, like, how can I put this, is whether to make the downstairs, it's basically to delete the upstairs. But I don't know, it's easy for me to say that, but then what does that do downstairs? You're not really getting any benefit. You're just basically upgrading the existing floor layout. Anyway, food for thought. I'll send this through and then we can chat when you guys are free. Cheers, guys.